What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today we have the S4 here in the garage, and we're going to be installing a strut tower brace from ECS Tuning. So over here we have the strut tower brace and all the components laid out for us to check out. So we have a billet aluminum strut tower brace, pretty solid, nice piece of metal, all black. It's going to be really subtle. It's got a little ECS logo there. Overall really nice quality. And then we have another bracket here in wrinkle black, got some nice texture to it. And then we have all of our needed hardware, screws, nuts, everything, that washers, everything that we're gonna need for the install of this. So the first step to installing the strut tower brace is going to be to remove this rain tray up here that covers kind of behind this wall right here. So pretty simple, just got the two screws on each side and this thing just pops out. Next thing that you're going to want to do is remove the harness right here on the left, and then remove the bolt that's holding down the battery, the portable battery terminal up front, so you can move that kind of out of the way and have more access to remove the OEM strut. So another thing that I'm gonna remove as well is gonna be this weather stripping right here. It's gonna make it a lot easier to kind of get your hands around stuff. Pretty simple, just pull this guy up and it just pops out of its socket. So once you're able to remove the weather stripping out of its kind of tray here, then you can go ahead and remove the 10mm bolts that go into the stock insulation right here. So there's gonna be 1, 2, and then 3. Remove those guys, pull it back so you can have more access. Once you remove those 3 from the insulation there, then you can go ahead and remove the 4 13mm nuts that cover the strut tower brace from the stock one. So you got 2 on this side, and then there's going to be another 2 over there. You can go ahead and remove those, and then it should be pretty straightforward on removing the OEM strut brace. So kind of interesting, there should be another spot for this bracket to kind of extend and attach here. I'm not sure why this is just open, because this is how my car came, with just going on to one of these studs here. So kind of weird. Maybe the B8 doesn't connect all the way over here. Maybe the B8.5 does. I'm not sure, but that's just a difference you might notice on your install. So here is the old strut tower brace that was on the car. As you can see, it's just like a hollow, like L-shaped piece of metal, not very strong. And what's interesting enough is this one actually has a spot for 2 on each side, the ECS does, while this has 2 and just 1 connection over here. So kind of weird how Audi designed it that way, but the ECS one should be a lot better. So it's kind of straightforward on where this bracket goes. That came from the ECS one. Obviously this is gonna be facing a little bit different. It's most likely gonna go something like that, but I'll get it all set up for you to check out. So as to the orientation for the ECS bar, this is going to be the driver's side that has this kind of recessed part. This is where your windshield washer reservoir is going to mount, or kind of the top part of it will mount there. It'll have its own washer that goes through here. Falling over, this is going to be the passenger side of the car. And then we have our ECS logo facing upwards, and you'll be able to read it from the driver's side as you pop the hood. So what you're going to want to do is flip this guy all the way over. So you're going to install the bracket once you have this flipped over like this. That way when you flip it back over, it's going to look identical to the OEM strut brace. So now we have the strut tower brace all assembled, ready to go. Now we can go ahead and place it back on the car and then get those 4 nuts back onto the studs on each side. So before we get the new strut tower brace installed with those 4 13mm nuts, we're going to want to re-secure the insulation. So ECS provides some new hardware for that. We just use the existing screws that go through there and the extra 2 nut and washers for the back side of the insulation. So now that we have the 2 insulation bolts reinstalled, you can see the new washer and nut on the back side here for one of them, and then the other one is going to be right there. So once that is back installed, then you can go ahead and place the strut tower brace into its alignment. We've got 2 studs over here and 2 over there. And like I said, that recessed portion of the strut tower base that's a little bit thinner is going to be over there for the washer reservoir fill. So it is kind of difficult to tell, but the strut tower brace does have a little bit of room so that in case you need to move it back and forth based on the alignment, maybe you have some different stuff going on over there and you don't have enough room, but this does slide, allowing you to kind of torque it down into place. Personally, for my car, it feels better to have it all the way towards the passenger side, and then I can go ahead and secure and torque all of these 4 bolts down. So it's going to be a 22 foot-pound or 30 Newton meter torque spec for these 4 nuts. So everything is torqued down. As you can see, it's really nice piece of metal, tucks in there very well. Super subtle, can't even notice it. So I'm really stoked with how this fit is. It's really nice. Kind of sat right into place super easy. It wasn't very difficult to get it in there. So I'm going to finish up with this install and I'm going to go for a little drive. And the last thing you need to tighten down is going to be that terminal box again with that 10mm screw. It's just going to kind of fit right into place with the new bracket. So the car is all put back together. Overall, I would say this was a very straightforward install. It was super easy. It only required some very basic tools, a couple sockets, flathead screwdriver, and then I think it was a 4mm like Allen socket. So overall, it was a pretty easy install. I would rate it from like between a 1 and a 5 for difficulty. It's like a 0.5. Like, it's not difficult at all. It's very straightforward. There's no challenges. There was, I mean, overall it only took me about 15 minutes. A little bit longer because I was recording, but if I was to just focus on the task, it would have only taken me about 15 minutes. So pretty stoked with how minimal the install went. But overall, I'm hoping that there's a huge return in drivability. Even though this was only about a $120 modification, I think it's going to improve a whole lot more than the OEM strut tower brace. So I'm going to go ahead, take the car out for a cruise around town, kind of get a general feel for it and see what my first opinions are driving the car. Unfortunately, I can't take it out on track anytime soon, but I will get back to you with a good review of what I find driving. What is going on here?
It's not what I want to see.
Is this thing white yet or what?
It's pretty white, right?
This is crazy. If you guys haven't seen Alex's Subaru on Instagram or his YouTube, his car is white now, pretty much. He's getting there. He's just got the bumpers to do, and he's doing the flares right now, I think, but it's looking pretty good.
I'm gonna say, well, I have, oh, are we recording?
Yep.
I was gonna be super
We're out here.
Probably 4.
4 days?
No, honestly, it's probably 5, 6, 7,
5?
12? I don't know.
12?
Honestly, it's been like over the course of like 2 weeks probably, but I've only really gone at it like hard. I would say at least 6 solid days, right?
I mean, that would make sense.
That would make sense. I think so.
I feel like 6 days.
Well, one day I did hood, fender, then the next day I did 2 doors, and the next day I did both 3/4, or no?
No, we did the 3/4 one day, and then we did the other 3/4 the other day.
I'm probably at a week.
I mean, you only have like a couple hours each day too.
Yeah.
So it's probably like 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
Like
probably.
worth of work if you're like going at it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But like it's looking like pretty good, like nice and tucked.
It's getting in there, you know.
Then the side skirts.
That's gotta be the other side too.
Basically, these bumpers are just gonna be like such a pain.
It's just because I have to take it apart too. Like, take off these, take off these, take off these, and then obviously this is obviously wrapped too. So take off this wrap and then, oh my God, who scratched that? Oh, it's already coming off.
What the heck?
Anyway, take that off too. Take off license plate. And
so it's like this is one piece right here.
Exactly.
The whole thing is one piece.
Yeah, you can see where it ends.
And then like another piece here. But are you getting a diffuser?
Eventually. I just
not like right away.
Yeah, there's not good Subaru diffusers.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be pretty difficult because I think like isn't under here like
yeah, it's pretty compact down there. What they normally do is the spare tire, well, they bolt into that.
Right.
Yeah, for like supporting things.
Well, if you want to check out Alex's wrap that he's finishing up, I'll put his Instagram right here for you.
And YouTube.
All right, so while we're here checking out his wrapped WRX, so he's going from, well, he went from blue to gray to blue. Now he's going white, and then eventually he's gonna paint it, right?
Yep.
One of these days. So it's got me thinking. I've had the same color on the S4 for like ever since I've owned it, so 3 years now. I want to wrap it. So I wonder what you guys think the S4 would look best if I was to wrap it. Personally, I'm thinking going with like a green, like a British racing green, something like darker.
You won't do it.
That's like super deep green. Or basically Nardo gray, or like a slightly shade date dark.
Did you say shard?
What am I even saying?
Shard?
A shade darker than Nardo gray, so kind of like Lamborghini's version of Nardo gray. So I just got back from driving the Audi around town, and right away I noticed a big difference in steering input. I noticed that kind of there was this range from top, like the dead center of the steering wheel, whether I was going left or right, there was this like range that the steering was kind of dead. It wasn't very responsive right away. I noticed that this did improve that. It narrowed that range a lot more, so I was able to feel the responsiveness of the steering a lot more. And then once I was settled into a corner, I noticed that the steering felt a lot tighter. A lot of the bumps that I would feel in like a normal road, those were a lot mellower. They weren't as exaggerated. I didn't feel like the chassis was flexing as much. This was not like a huge improvement over stock, but it's definitely moving the car in the right direction towards stiffening the steering and overall drivetrain of the car. So I'm really stoked with how the install went. For how affordable it is and how easy the installation was, I think it's a really good upgrade for you. There's other ones that they do offer. There's another one that goes over the front of that kind of like fake firewall right there, and it kind of curves over and it goes over kind of the top Audi emblem of that one of those engine covers. And I think that is another one that would further improve the steering response on the car. So I think that's something that I might be doing next. As far as wrapping the car, I would really love to hear you guys' opinions, because I do want to wrap the car eventually, just to protect the paint, kind of get a new color going on, get a whole new color scheme, change the brakes, kind of do something new with the car, just because it's been like this for about 1.5 years now. So I'd love to hear your input on that. Anyway, I will link the ECS strut tower brace down below for you to check out on their website. That's going to be it for today's video. I know it was kind of a short one, but I appreciate you all watching and staying tuned. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.